All right, I am going to make a quick tier list for dungeon stalkers. I don't know if their anti-cheat's gonna hold, but if the game dies, oh well. I just kind of felt like doing this. So the categories that I'm gonna consider for this tier list are how efficiently the class clears mobs, kills trash, how easily and efficiently it clears elites, bosses, how good the 1v1 is, how good the 1vx is, and after a 1v1, if you get third party, how easily you can disengage, survive, escape, or also get a kill there. So I'm also going to look at the legendaries because they do change the abilities and the class pretty significantly, and then gear as well if there's any other gear considerations. Ability usefulness and damage of abilities. Kind of the assumptions that I'm working with are that you have a good gear set. Everyone you fight in PvP knows what they're doing, and that you also kind of know what you're doing. All right, so going into the class now. Let's start with, what is this, Mave? Knave. The mob clearing is pretty abysmal. It's pretty painful having to recharge your mana. Typically takes like 2 fireballs for the tougher mobs and competitive. So mob clearing is not too good. Bossing does take quite a while, having to charge your spells and mana in between damaging them. You can do it quite safely. And the AoE and the fireball is nice when the ad spawn, but not a very nice class for PvE. The PvP is definitely a little bit better, but if you're caught in like a small room with the doors closed, you're going to have a rough time. The knockback is, some survivability and some defense, but besides that, you don't really have anything to stop someone from just ambushing you after a 1v1 if you win. So like the PVX is not very good in this class from my perspective. Survivability is definitely an issue. Typically you don't have as high of a health pool, especially if you're wearing cloth armor as well. You're not going to survive as long. You're not going to have enough health pool to really take on multiple enemies. So I think the PvE really holds it back. The PvP is, slightly better. The ult's, okay, I guess. Let's see what else is there to talk about. I mean, she's just not, I think she's one of the weaker classes right now. I mean, if you have full, Bisque gear with all magical damage and legendaries, the legendary staff is quite strong. But that's really about it. I mean, the one with the knockback, the chest piece that shoots behind you is kind of interesting because you can kind of just sprint away and shoot it behind you, but it does miss pretty easily. Yeah, I mean, if you're not looking where you're actually shooting it, you know what I mean? Like, how often are you really going to hit it? You have to kind of wait. And, she kind of, if you have an archer that knows what they're doing, she kind of gets torn apart by that too, especially in an open room. Me personally, especially just with how abysmal the PvE is and how annoying it is to clear, I'm going to put her in D tier. I don't think she's very good. So moving on, Arude. He is quite a strong class. The traps stun last forever. It is easy to get rid of them if you just attack them. However, there are a lot of places in the map where you can kind of hide it under the floor and rubble and stuff, and it's impossible to see. And if you get stunned, you're taking, his shotgun to the face. His ult is quite strong too because it adds fire damage to every arrow. So the shotgun, for example, adds 3 instances of fire damage. It just makes it do a pretty significant amount of damage. The poison is really, really strong for PvE. Anything with high health, like bossing, for example, is extremely easy with him. You can do it with no gear. You just poison arrow the ads, poison arrow the boss, and just run around in a circle. It's really easy. What else is there? I mean, he's just a really strong class. His PvE is, and he's an archer, right? So it's free PvE. You don't take any chip damage. Really nice. I think he's somewhere probably around A tier. Could be high B, but low A. He's just a really solid class. He even has a melee option that adds, I think it's like, I don't know, 50% damage or something to your next arrow shot, which is kind of nice. You can kind of, someone gets on you, you can right click them, jump back, headshot. It does quite a bit of damage. Especially if you have pre-setups with traps, like the PVX is really easy. You can disengage it back over your traps. If someone, comes in and doesn't know that they're there, it's pretty free damage, free kills. So definitely has kiting ability, definitely has PVX ability, good for PvE, good for bossing. His legendary, the instant trap setting is kind of weird. I haven't had much time to test that, but it is useful. The bow, which shoots 2 arrows, is really good. I mean, it's just overall, he's strong in every area. Yeah. All right, I'm going to actually do Baron next. I think a lot of people play Baron. So I'm just going to go ahead and put him in B tier. He gets kited way too easily. His PvE, it's really difficult to kill elites without taking chip damage. He is just, his abilities lag so much. His thrust and slash, you will almost always get hit. It's just not. It's not a fun time clearing. PvP, he's definitely better. PvX for sure. The only problem with him in PvP that I've found is if you have another melee matchup, it's impossible to not take damage. And you pretty much cannot disengage. It's very difficult to get away. He has no dash abilities, no defense abilities. His blocking drains a lot of stamina with the sword. His ultimate, I think, is kind of what saves him. The stun from the ult is crazy. It does a lot of damage. So it's definitely his saving grace, I think. His legendaries are all right too. His sword is good. The helmet is pretty useless, I'm not going to lie. But the sword is good. Just 10 more damage is really nice. I've been testing kind of doing just full add damage on him and just ignoring attack speed. It's actually kind of interesting. So he's all right. Nothing too fantastic, but, solid all around. The bossing and the elites are, I think, what really holds him back. It's tough. And even just mob clearing is a pain. So I don't think he's as good as the Arude guy, but he's definitely a solid class. Like, I definitely think that if you just run past all PvE, ignore them, and just PvP, it's probably, A tier. But just because of the bossing and the elites, I can't put him as high as Arude. Okay, so I think this guy's name is Clad, the paladin guy. PvE is nice. His Smite, the AoE ability is really good for PvE. You can just one tap skeletons pretty much. His legendary also adds another like 20-ish, 30 damage to that. Same problem as Baron with PvE. I mean, Butcher, he does okay because you can block through the Butcher and just kind of go under his armpit, hit him from behind. Not too bad. But he really just doesn't have any options for escape, disengage, or PVX in PvP. I mean, he does get healing. And I don't know if it's maybe bugged, but the thing that's supposed to cleanse status effects doesn't really do anything. It doesn't cleanse fire or poison right now. I don't know if that's a bug or, if they fixed it already, but last I played him, it was just useless. So I do think his PvE clearing is better than Mave. Man, I mean, I'm thinking maybe it's C just because his PvE is a lot easier and his blocking with the shield is just so much better. So I'm going to put him in C tier. His legendaries are honestly probably some of the worst. So he's definitely not B tier, but he's all right. I do like the he has really good cooldowns too. The heal is great. The ult is really nice for PvP, especially if PVX. If you still have your ult up or you get your ult up, 300 health is a lot. So the shield, very nice. Okay, let's go Renee. Not much to say about this. I think right now she's the worst class. The mob, whatever the atronachs are just super bugged. The self heal, life steal on her ult and everything is cool, but I mean, she's bugged. Pretty much unplayable right now, in my opinion. Theoretically, she would be really strong for PvE clearing, bossing, and elites because you can kind of just sit back and let your ads do everything. But I mean, you're pretty much just dead in PvP to like almost every class right now because the ads just don't target things correctly. And also, it just doesn't really do no. I mean, if you have a Baron smacking you with a greatsword, he's just gonna out DPS you. You have like no way to block. You're getting toasted by archers. You're getting toasted by Baron. You can't really kill the paladin. You're just gonna block and heal. I think right now the weakest class. Like at least Mave I think has some options in PvP. If you full stack her full damage, like with the legendaries, like yeah, she is quite strong in PvP. All right, so moving on to Leanne. She's definitely weaker than Arude for sure. The trap thing, the cast time is horrible. It moves so slow. The debuff is quite strong. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the debuff was bugged though. I don't actually. I think Baran is a little bit better than her, to be honest. Obviously, she's an archer, so PvE is really easy. Bossing is easy. Elites are easy, but it's not as good as Arude because Arude is poison. So her ult is also, I mean, kind of useless. Like it just gives you unlimited arrows, so it saves you a 1 second reload every 10 seconds. I mean, that's pretty. From my experience, it's pretty useless. I mean, I guess you could spam rapid fire with it, but that's the only thing it gives you. I'd probably put her in B tier just because her PvE. I mean, it's a range class, so the PvE is just so easy. Yeah, I'd probably put her low B, high C. She's okay, nothing too strong. I mean, same legendaries as Arude. They're pretty solid. Although the instant trap setting is just much better on Arude, so she's just a weaker version of him, really. Then we go to Hilda. Definitely stronger than Baran. I think her ult is extremely strong and it lasts for a very long time. Her mob clearing is good. Her elite clearing is probably the best in the game because her Q stun, the slash stun, you can Q/stun, get 3 hits, use the ability to block, Q stun, and you just have basically your full immortal infinite CC on like the trident wielding elites and everything. I mean, she's super good at elite clearing. Bossing, again, pretty easy. Same as like the paladin. Shields are just really good. I mean, on the Nunu King guy, it's a little worse because of the lightning. But unlike Butcher, for example, I mean, you can do her without taking any damage. You can do him without taking any damage at all. So very strong bossing, extremely strong elite clearing, solid mob clearing. Ult's very good. Legendaries are honestly probably the second or first strongest in the game. I mean, the gloves are just broken. The sword is fantastic. 10 damage, plus it attacks faster than the great sword for Baran. So she's definitely just a better version of Baran, in my opinion. Why I'm not putting her in A tier, though, is her PvP. From my experience, her PvPing is good 1v1 if you can get on someone. You definitely need the 15% move speed from that rune. But the PvX is really not great. I mean, if you get third-partied, it is way more difficult because you're going to have a lot of chip damage. If you don't have your ult, you're a lot weaker. If you don't have the legendaries, you don't really have survivability as much. I mean, she struggles very heavily in escaping and disengaging. Just doesn't have really the options that like the range classes have. I definitely think she's stronger than Baran in that sense, but yeah, I can't put her in. Arude's just so much better at PvP and escaping disengage. So I mean, I put her above Baran in this because of how efficiently she clears elites and bosses and mobs. So really solid class. Yeah, I think that's where she belongs. Okay, Shobu. I mean, this class is completely broken. Mob clearing, you will never take damage. You E into the queue. All her abilities like chain into each other. They're very smooth. You get free shurikens after. They do a disgusting amount of damage. She has range option, CC option, escape. She's very fast. She has a defense ability that turns her invisible and reduces damage by 50%. Her ult is really nice for waiting out cooldowns. Bossing, you super easy with the shurikens. You just go in and out with EQ shuriken. The only negative thing I can really say is sometimes you have mana problems, but just bring mana pots. I think this is by far the strongest class. I mean, the PVX is unmatched. I mean, I've been 50% health, almost dead, and gotten third partied and just completely rinsed them without taking damage. She's just extremely strong. The shurikens scale super, super hard. Legendaries are all right. The legendary dagger's pretty good with the shurikens. I think it definitely works the best on her for sure. But yeah, from my experience, I mean, she's just extremely strong. Like free mob clear, you take 0 damage from elites because you just stun them with the E every 4 seconds. Yeah, I mean, this class is just crazy strong. I like people I think aren't playing it enough because it's a paid class, but yeah, it's by far the best class that I found so far. Rio. Woo. Yeah, I would say she's stronger than Arude. I mean, she's probably has the highest like burst damage out of all the classes, unless you're talking about brand ult into like QE or something, but very strong abilities, extremely low cooldowns. The dash is insane. She can do the bosses. Butcher easily, Nunu King not so easily. Elites are actually kind of annoying to do on her because she doesn't have any CC, but you can kind of play her on the dash and just dash through and just, dash, auto attack, Q for the double slash, then right click. So, I mean, she's okay. High burst. The ESP on her ult was really cool. You can kind of just run through like the goblin room, for example, and not take any aggro. It's really nice. She's very sticky as well because of the dash, so it's just really hard to escape. Also has really strong disengage. The legendary, I never even bothered trying. The one where you get a combo point from the dagger throw, I think is just kind of useless. I don't know, maybe that'll change, but yeah, I would say she's stronger than Arude just because of the PVX. Obviously, Arude's strength is just the bossing though, but I would probably put her very equal with him. Like I think it's a very strong class. I think it has the highest burst. Abilities are very strong and useful. So yeah, I'd probably leave it right here. I'm pretty confident with this list right now. If anything, you can maybe move Mave up to C. But yeah, I mean, I can't put these classes in A tier just with how poorly they clear certain things. Like Hilda PVXing is pain, Brand, same thing. Plus elites are really annoying. His ability to just lag too much. You're going to take so much chip damage. Yeah, and Mr. Clad, I think that's his name. He just doesn't have PVX ability at all. Elite clearing is pretty horrible. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with this list. If anything, if you want to just because of how strong range is, you can maybe move Leanne up or down, but I think I would just leave it like this. Okay, so that's pretty much the class tier list, and yeah, have fun.